HeyImAmethyst here. For those who are returning, welcome back to another video on my channel. And for those who are new here, welcome. Today's video is going to be an update video. While I'm still working on the C++ tutorial, and everything like that. It's going to be taking a while. I'm just taking my sweet time and trying to get everything together in the way that I want so that it's easy to understand. But I thought that in the meantime I could just give you a little bit of an update video on my 3DSs and my handheld consoles and everything, because there have been some updates since the last time I've put out a video talking about my new 3DS and my broken new 2DS XL. There have been updates. So I thought I would just make a little video and also kind of ask for advice and additional resources because I'm kind of stuck. So yeah, I think I'll just get straight into this. So I guess the first thing that I would like mention. I don't think this is the fault of Kawaii fans or anything. I think this was just due to my negligence. I did not realize how fragile these styluses are. Um, both of these broke, and I had to use super glue to put them back together. This part, the top of them like broke, like both of the tops of them broke. So this one broke. I was able to like glue it back together, no problem. It hasn't broken ever since because I'm not sticking it inside my my pockets anymore because I tend to, you know, stuff a whole bunch of crap in my pockets, and I guess doing that wasn't a really great idea. And then this one, the top also cracked open, and the liquid ended up spilling out of it. Because sometimes I would put these in my pockets like while I'm at work, and then I used to put my 3DSs or like my DS inside my pocket, you know, just so that I would have it at the ready when I'm on break. Um, I stopped doing that because these two ended up breaking while they were in my pocket. So I don't know what kind of liquid the original creator used for this stylus, but I know it wasn't water because when I noticed that it broke and everything spilled out, it didn't dry like water. It felt oily. I had some baby oil, so I kind of like replaced that with baby oil, but I'm not really sure if that was like a good substitute because I noticed that in here the little stars inside would get stuck and I would have to shake it aggressively to get them loose. I'm not really sure what a good, you know, substitute liquid I could use to make it so that the stars inside the pen are able to move when I shake it instead of just like doing this, you know? But I don't know. But yeah. Um so just make sure that you treat these styluses with care. They're not heavy duty. They can break. So yeah. Um the other thing that I wanted to give an update on was this one. My first 3DS, the black one. There have been some issues with this one. Um so so randomly this 3DS started kind of like crashing on startup, and I think there was like a couple of reasons why. I think I tried updating the Luma 3DS on here, but I don't think there has been any. I don't know if there's any like recent updates of Luma 3DS for the custom build that I'm using, because if you guys remember from like the first video where I did specifically about the 3DS, I had to download a specific Luma build for this in order to get past the issue with the NVRAM being inaccessible or just damaged and dead, so that it wouldn't start up on crash on startup. So I ended up downloading that, but I don't know if there's like a separate GitHub repository for that build specifically. I had to go onto a separate page and it had a link to it, and it just downloaded the file straight to me. It didn't link me to a GitHub, so I had to download that in order to get this to work, right? So when I realized that, I was like, okay, let me just re-download that specific build, and probably that would solve my issue. And no, it would still be crashing on startup. So I ended up following the hacks guide, and it led me to, I read like some like like some steps on one of the pages, and I essentially did like a manual CRT transfer, and that ended up causing me to lose all of my data on Street Pass and on the Me Plaza. All my saves were still there though, thank God, but like all of like my Me activity wiped off, data snapped, can't be seen again, and that was kind of unfortunate and really frustrating. But then I realized that I didn't need to do all of that, because the reason why my 3DS kept crashing on startup was because of what was in my Luma titles folder. So whatever plugin I downloaded on here, it seems to have corrupted somehow, and that was solving the issue. And turning off like loading the the external firms option in the Luma settings thing, that solved the issue. So I didn't need to do all of that and lose all of my progress in Me Plaza, which was really annoying. Um, so I just like a couple minutes ago, I just kind of went into the SD card and kind of just deleted all of the stuff that was in like the titles folder and also in the system folder for like the Luma 3DS thing. I forget what the exact name was. But like I deleted all of the stuff out of that. All of them except for my 𝗧𝗶𝗀𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀 patch for the English translation, because I know that still works and that wasn't causing any issues. So I was able to get that loading up again, and now it's starting up without crashing while having the load external firms option on and the game patching on. So all of that's taken care of, and that's working. Um but there's still another issue with this thing. So I don't know if you can see the screen well. It's on. I know I have a really poopy webcam. Um, but as you can see, the screen's on. Everything works. Not all of my games are on here. I've lost some from like the wipe. But you know, I'm kind of not going to go through the trouble of re-downloading the stuff that I had before. I'm just going to keep the ones that I was playing more often, and then when I feel like downloading more, I'll download more. But at least for now, because I don't want to like download a whole bunch of stuff and then this thing breaks again and I lose all of that. So yeah, so it's on, it's turning on fine. There was no crash at the startup, but you know, if I close it and then open it again, as you can see, it's turned off. And it's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to turn right back on from sleep mode, but after a little bit, it'll just turn off completely. And from searching online, it seems like it seems to be a ribbon cable problem, and I do not feel like taking this thing apart again and struggling to fix whatever's broken and then put it back together again and then risk breaking this thing even further. Um yeah, I'm just kind of annoyed. I mean, it's not too big of a deal. Like, I'll just make sure not to like close it while I'm in a game. I have made that mistake before while I was playing some games, but um yeah, it is annoying, but I can deal with it, right? But still, that kind of shows me that this thing is just aging. And while there's nothing wrong with that, I probably wouldn't have this problem so early on if I had just bought a well taken care of console from the beginning. And that's gonna tie into the issues that I've been having with my new 2DS XL. So I'm just gonna put this aside, and yeah, there was some problems trying to get this thing fixed. So I'll just I haven't taken a chance to open it back up again because I requested that the person who was fixing my new 2DS XL to return it back because of some issues that I've had with the person. So I'm just going to take this out. Yeah, so there it is, still broken, and everything. Um, so there were some problems that I was having with the seller, and I ultimately decided to ask the seller to just return it back. Um, so yeah, the seller did give me back the one of the parts that they had. Um, it was for like the was it the, yeah, the volume slider. It was for the volume slider, so that's in there. These are like the stuff that I sent before. And they also brought it back. This was like the screen replacement. So yeah, I'm going to pretty much um recount what had happened because I'm a bit annoyed at what had happened because it didn't need to happen if things were handled properly. So yeah, so this was the note that I sent alongside with the console, just, you know, putting a detailed, because I already laid out like the issues with it in like the eBay DMs, but I also wrote a note just in case it got buried. Um and this was like I already said what was wrong with the device in like the previous video that I did, but I'll repeat what was wrong with it in this video. So the main issue was that it won't turn on, and I got this from another seller on eBay pretty much broken. Like I deliberately bought it broken because I thought that I could fix it, and the seller that on that listing said that it from searching online it could be just like, you know, maybe you just need a screen replacement or something like that. But from my researching after buying this, having it sent to me, and then further researching, it seems like it could be a screen replacement, or it could be loose ribbon cables, or it could be issues with like the connectors on the motherboard. And for my fixing, trying my attempts at trying to fix this, I ended up finding more problems with it, and I also ended up breaking it further. So I ended up snapping the Wi-Fi cable in half. I ended up cracking this in the process, but I wasn't really worried about this because I was going to overlay this with, you know, stickers and a protective case anyway, so that wasn't really a problem. Um, and I didn't list this as a problem because I didn't think it would be a big deal, right? So I didn't tell this to the person that was going to like repair this because I didn't see this as a big problem. You know, I also did tell the person who was going to repair, you know, about the broken, you know, headphone jack dock thing, the broken volume slider, right? And then all the other issues, right? So this is what I wrote on the thing. It said, device won't turn on, right? So, and then I listed 3 possible fixes, full top screen replacement, which is what I bought this for. It was like the top screen. It was like either custom firmware, missing files, and I did input like all of the necessary files that I would need in this SD card. Like if all of the fixes were done and it still wouldn't turn on, I was like, hey, I put the necessary files in this thing, just pop it in the console, and if then it turns on finally, then this has custom firmware on it and you can send it back to me. But yeah, so and then the touchscreen connectors replacement, you know, I noticed that while I took this apart, the connectors on the motherboard for connecting the bottom screen and the top screen, they were loose. Um, so sorry. My keyboard and mouse keeps disconnecting on my computer. Um, but yeah, I noticed these were loose, so I was like, let me buy some replacement motherboard connectors. Um, And it turns out that I bought the wrong ones. So he let me know that I bought the wrong ones, but he let me know pretty late. And I'm gonna get into that in a bit. But yeah, I pretty much just laid out, all of that, right? And then I also noticed, like, listed the broken Wi-Fi cable, the volume slider part broken, but they said that they had a part for it already, so I didn't have to buy the replacement part. And then the headphone jack, already mentioned that. And I bought replacement. It was so difficult trying to buy some of the replacements for this thing. Like, I don't know where some of you guys buy your replacements. I don't know if you use Cash and Parts. I don't know if you use some other service, but it seemed like I couldn't find. I was having such a hard time finding like parts, especially for the Wi-Fi cable. I don't know where you guys get your Wi-Fi cables, but I couldn't order it. I was having such a hard time ordering it, and it took so long for some of the parts to get here too. So that was all the issues that I had with this device, right? And I ended up telling the seller before purchasing that all the issues with this console, the major issues with this console, right? And on the original listing, right? It did not say, like, for the repair, right? It did not say that it was specifically for the motherboard. It was not, there's no indication in the images, there is no indication in the title or in the description. It only said so after I paid for the service, which shouldn't be the case. And it did say so after I bought it and I got the automated message in the DMs for it, but I wasn't reading that. I didn't notice that, and I feel like even if it was stated then, it should have been stated up front what type of repair that I was paying for. So that was red flag number one. Red flag number two was that after I paid for the service, after I said all of the um after I said all of the problems and issues with the console, right? You know, and telling the person, the repair person, what was wrong with the console and everything, and sending it off. It took 2 months and for them to get back to me, and I had to initiate the conversation, right? I had to initiate the conversation. So apparently, right, that my console arrived the week after, and they did the inspection when it arrived. But it took them 2 months to get back to me, and I was the one that had to ask for an update. Like, I asked for an update once, a week goes by, there was no response. And it was only until after I sent them an angry message that they ended up responding. And so they ended up responding back, and they said, "Oh, I'll give you a detailed update on the Friday, that week Friday." So I was like, "Okay, I'll wait." Friday comes, and the whole day goes by. It's nearing the end of the day. I had to initiate the conversation again. And the seller was like, "Oh, I don't normally update my clients until later on." Later on? What later on when? 12 o'clock midnight? Like, come on. Like, I'm expecting you to get back to me at a reasonable time. Why are you waiting until the end of the day? Why are you waiting until I have to come up and ask you for an update? So, because I think I still have the messages on my phone. I could probably, like, look at it, right? Yeah, so they said, I usually send my messages to clients later, and I was like, okay, because they already performed the inspection the week it arrived, right? So why wasn't it a priority to tell me then what you found, tell me then, okay, what you found wrong with the console, and then communicate back to me, and then ask me how I wanted to proceed. Because they then go on to say, oh, I found more problems with it, you know, that's outside of what's covered in the service. And that was when I got confused. I mean, I didn't really process it at the time because I was just excited to have somebody respond back, because I was afraid of that I might have sent off this console, all of the stuff that I paid for, and then got scammed, right? Because I never sent my personal items off to strangers on the internet before. So I was like paranoid, right? And they were telling me all this new information, right? And that's when they told me that I sent the wrong, connectors for the motherboard, right? So, and then they said that, there could be additional charges and stuff like that. And, they were also repeating information that I already know and that I already told them, because I listed it in the notes and in my initial message before I paid for the service, right? So, and then they had the gall to say, here is a recommendation. Please, if you haven't done this before, please do not attempt blah 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 blah. Attempt fixing it, blah 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 blah. And at the time, I was just happy that I was getting a response. But after the conversation and then thinking about it, why would you say that? Why would you say that after, neglecting to update me, and everything like that? And I already told them in messages before that I realized that I bit more than I can chew for trying to fix this console, right? And so, after thinking about it, I ended up chewing them out in another message, the day after. And it was a pretty long message, right? And they ended up, responding back, and they didn't address the fact that they neglected to update me when the inspection happened, right? They also neglect the fact that not only did I tell them about the issue of it not turning on, the Wi-Fi connector being broken, and the volume slider, they also failed to mention that I did tell them about the headphone jack. So that was like 4 main issues, that they failed to mention, right? And so, all in all, maybe I might have overreacted, possibly, but I've never done this before. I sent off expensive an expensive console that I paid so much money for, and replacement parts that I spent money for, and I'm sending it off to somebody I don't know. And I haven't done this before. And I've heard stories from other people online where they've interacted with eBay sellers and they either get scammed or they get ghosted. So I was worried about that happening, right? And also the failure of the updates. You have expensive materials with you that somebody else is trusting you to handle with care, and you are failing to give them updates. You're failing to provide them with information that should have been crucial to know about from the beginning. And all in all, I just did not trust the person who had this console in their hands, because if they could have just, provided all the additional information up front on the selling, right? Notified me immediately when there were issues with the console, if there were any updates or delays with trying to get the correct parts. They failed to do that, and they didn't acknowledge that in their final message trying to defend themselves, right? They didn't take responsibility for the fact that they failed to keep me updated. So I was frustrated. I was tired. I didn't want to be dealing with additional charges that I didn't know were going to be happening, because, this person failed to get back with me and ask me questions and communicate with me onto how I wanted to go on with the repair. So I was like, you know what? Send the damn thing back to me. And so I have it. It's back to me. And I don't know what to do with this now. because when trying to research alternative repair services for the new 2DS XL, I couldn't find anybody. There were other websites, but I couldn't see if they had any good reviews. And of the websites that did have good, people like talking about them, it seems like there were some people that didn't have any good experience with the service. And it was hard to find repair services for the new 2DS XL. It was even more difficult to find 3DS repair services in general, at least outside of eBay, right? So I'm had this question in my mind, for all the people that are also buying these consoles online, secondhand, whatever. My question is to y'all, what are you gonna do when these break and it's not a simple fix and you don't have the equipment to fix it yourselves? Because, I have two desks, but one is for my art supplies, one is just to hold my laptop, my computers, my consoles, and I don't have enough room as it is. Like, my artist desk already is filled with all of my art supplies, and I do not have the space for a whole console repair setup. Nor do I have the money to buy all the equipment, and I'm sure that's expensive as hell. So while I do want, because the whole reason why I bought broken consoles to begin with is because, it was cheaper, and also I wanted to learn how to fix them myself, give these consoles new life instead of having them be thrown away, creating e-waste, you know. And I want to learn how to repair these. But I think at the currently I am not in a good position to repair these myself. And, it doesn't help the fact that my coordination skills is shit. And it's the reason why this console ended up breaking more in the first place, because me coordination no good. And gripping no good. So, I don't know. Like, I do want to repair this, but at currently, like, I am not in a good position to repair this. And I think this is just the universe's way of telling me that I'm better off just buying well taken care of consoles that work well right off the bat, instead of broken ones or partial broken ones that have some issues with it. Because this 3DS, the original motherboard, like, it was bricked, and I had to go and buy another used partially broken white 3DS, and I just swapped the motherboards. But, not only was the NB-RAM broken, like it was dying and now it's dead, but also it seems like, they're, alongside with the other stuff still attached to this console, it seems like this console was just already on its way out, and the other consoles just had the other motherboard attached to it, just seems to have, like, some other issues as well. So, yeah, like, I guess I should have just bought these working from the beginning, because, these ones, they're still working just fine. Like, the screens on my DS, like, the top screen, there's, like, broken pixels, and that's my fault, because I put on my screen protectors too roughly, but it still works. And this one still works. Like, still works and everything. Like, I haven't been using it as much because I mainly wanted to use this as a device that I would use to stream to Twitch. So it probably wouldn't age as quickly because I'm not using it as often. But, it's still going strong, and I'm doing my best to make sure that I take care of this thing. So, yeah. So I don't know what to do from here, because once this ends up just not working, because it seems like there's like a ribbon cable issue, like, once this fully stops working, who do I trust to send this off to do the repairs? Who do I trust to send this off to do the repairs? what are you guys' go-to person for repairing the 3DS consoles? Because I couldn't find any good reputable people online um outside of eBay, and considering that my eBay experience was trying to get this one fixed wasn't so great, I'm not sure if I'm going to have the same experiences with other people doing repairs just for the 3DSs on eBay. And, you know, the person that I sent this off to, like, they had good reviews. People were happy with the service. So it could just be me. It could just, I just got unlucky, and maybe the universe was doing some things behind the scenes to let me know that I would have just been better off just buying a working console. But, so I don't think this person is like a necessarily scummy person or anything like that. I think this was just, a bad experience that I had with them. Um and I also don't recommend that people go and harass this person on eBay either, because things between sellers and their customers, they happen. Things don't exactly go as planned. Things go wrong, and it's only natural. I'm just kind of frustrated that there might not be another way for me to fix this unless I get the experience to fix this myself. And I am not confident to fix this right now. And I'm not confident in, considering that I had so much issues with this, I am not confident about opening this up and messing around with this any further. So if this thing breaks, I am not opening this thing up again. I'd rather send it off to somebody who has steadier hands than I do. So yeah, I'm not sure. Um, and it doesn't really make any sense for me to resell this either, because number one, I broke this myself further, and also I just really think it's kind of stupid to be selling really broken consoles for such high prices in the first place. Like, if it's broken and it'll work and it doesn't turn on, why are you selling it for $100 and something dollars? Like, I don't know who to go to send these off to repair. I think these consoles will ended up staying broken um till the end of time. Because there were people on YouTube that were repairing consoles for their viewers, but they stopped doing that. So I'm kind of not sure where to go. I don't have any local retro repair shops near me. I don't have any retro console stores near me that could possibly like do repairs or anything like that. So I'm kind of out of options on what to do. I don't know how to proceed, where I should go to. If anybody has any links to any reputable places that I can send these consoles off to be repaired and everything like that, please let me know. But yeah, I think I would just, for now, have to buy some really good, well taken care of consoles from some other stores. cozytoastyy had linked some places to buy retro consoles too, so I'll link them in the description, and I'll take a look at the stores myself to see what they have in stock, so that I can buy one that's working well. But yeah, that is all the updates in terms of the handheld console stuff. I haven't done any updates on my Wii because I haven't had the chance to play on my Wii that much. I haven't had a chance to play on my handheld consoles that much because, um, my drive's dying and having drive issues, and then work and school and just everything. Um, so I was really burnt out with trying to get certain things to work. But yeah, I'm trying to get back into the flow of like playing on these consoles again, as well as my Wii, because I still have some games that I need to back up and preserve, and I need to do that. Um, but yeah, so that's all there is on that front. There is also some more updates that I want to share. Yep, look at all these bracelets I made. They look so pretty. These are glass beaded bracelets, and I just love the way that they feel on my skin. Um, so yeah, I made a whole bunch of bracelets, and I started selling them on Etsy. I know I left Etsy before, and I left Etsy because of all the fees and stuff, and also the issue with AI and drop shipping on that website, and a lot of artists have had issues with it. So I ended up leaving Etsy and moving to Buy Me a Coffee. I know that there's Ko-fi, but like since the incident that Duchess Celestia had with them, I had moved all of my stuff over from Ko-fi to Buy Me a Coffee because I do not trust Ko-fi with my money and my safety and my security. So, yeah, but I ended up moving all of my paid stuff back to Etsy because Buy Me a Coffee isn't as popular as Ko-fi, and there are some aspects with, at least the physical shipping part that I was confused on. I wasn't sure if they calculated the shipping prices automatically like Ko-fi does, or if I can buy shipping labels from them, or if I would have to do it myself. There was like a lot of confusion, and I just wanted it to be a simple process. So I ended up moving back to Etsy. But yeah, these bracelets are on my Etsy now, as well as the other stuff that I had before, my VRite stuff and my chat box widget stuff. So yeah, these are on there. Oh, I also have made strawberry charms. I'm going to be putting up more charm listings on my Etsy. But they're gonna take a while because I want to make them look pretty. But this is one of the examples of the strawberry charms that I made. Yeah, it looks really nice. And everything. I like it. It also matches the stickers that I have on this. So, yeah, that's on my Etsy too. I did make these, but these were just as like a test to test designs and stuff for these. I'll probably make more bracelets like these ones and put them on my Etsy. I just haven't done that yet. There will be more stuff on my Etsy as I make stuff. But yeah, so that's the update that I wanted to share, that I'm making bracelets and charms and selling them on my Etsy. So if you want bracelets and charms for yourself or for your loved ones, for like gifts or anything like that, you can check out my Etsy. I'll put the link into the description. And yeah, my Buy Me a Coffee will still be there. All of the free stuff will be on my Buy Me a Coffee because of the way Etsy is set up, you can't really list free stuff on Etsy. So, yeah, and also like the donations, they're still gonna be on my Buy Me a Coffee as well. You don't have to donate if you don't want to, but if you don't want to buy anything on my Etsy, but you still want to support, um, you can donate there. But yeah, that's it. That's all for this update. But yeah, I'm gonna get back to working on the C and C sharp tutorial stuff now. I just wanted to give like a quick update on my console situation. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day slash night slash afternoon, wherever you guys are in the world, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye everybody.